for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. I'll just make this brief introduction short because we got a lot of stuff to get into, and I want to kind of make all of your times worth. I should just note that there shall be no applause throughout the piece except for when the band comes out onto stage and when the program ends, as well as like when there are solos. You know, when somebody solos and then I feel like, oh, look, there's solo. All that fun etiquette stuff. You know. This is also written in the program, just in case you haven't seen it. Just content warning. There's going to be some discussion of familial trauma, familial violence, some stuff dealing with early 20th century America. And there will be terms that are kind of nothing like super offensive, but just certain terms that are fairly outdated and are not in current parlance. So just keep that in mind. And outside of that, thank you for coming out, and I hope you really enjoy the show. Thank you.
I sometimes have visions of myself floating in a clear liquid, paralyzed. Can't tell what the liquid is, and I can only breathe, think, and look forward into the darkness that is before me. It makes me feel like when I visit my neighbor Robert's house and he plays those awfully sad Scottish songs on the banjo, or when I hear that Hungarian family off in the distance singing. There are certain things that really make a person feel a smallness, faintness, or downright patheticness when in the company of it. In the fall of a year and change ago, there was a man that also ended up in a pool of liquid like me, though his situation was a lot worse than mine. Dead, face down in a pond. He was taken out of his life by a disgruntled insurance man. When asked about why he did it, the insurance man said, "It just happened. I came to when he was in that pond. I didn't mean no harm." The man was sentenced to death. Still haven't gotten around to it yet, though. In the days that followed the story reaching our neck of the woods, I heard a gallery of testimonies from my classmates. The consensus on the playfield seemed to be that the man who died was illegally taking money from the insurance man's company. They said that while the body that was identified was listed as unmarried, it was suspected that the man was shacked up with a colored woman. Because of this, the man couldn't put a family plan on him and his girl. So in order to secure her and himself financially, he made a false file on him and his girl for a local insurance firm in order to get money. I thought it was awfully silly to start assuming that was what happened, especially since we had no evidence of that. Some people just kill to kill, the evil that travels through us. People my age can be stupid sometimes. Adults can be dumber. Gossip travels fast around my town, and when these rumors reached the married folks, it turned into mass paranoia. We had some colored folks in our neighborhood, ones that were never trusted to begin with by the lot of this town. Now, with the added benefit of those who should know better, now thinking there was some other group of people in cahoots with them to go on robbing sprees. The people who got the biggest amount of accusation was the Russian family down the road, the Turgnevs. No matter the amount of fuss they made, nothing would stop the gossip. In the days that followed, the Turgnevs left for good. A week before the murder happened, I was playing with the Turgnev's daughter, Sasha. She'd always been a bright and cheery person. I really liked being around her, just to talk. When we were playing, she stopped in her tracks and became wide-eyed while peering off, yards away into the distance. She snapped too soon after, but I kept a lookout to make sure nothing weird would happen again. When we left the forest we'd been in, Sasha began to break down and cry. And I don't mean crying the one does when they scrape their leg. I'm talking like she had just seen her family die type of crying. She began to shake violently, her face curled upwards into that of a demon, screaming that she didn't want to leave the woods and that she would die if she went home. I stood shocked, not knowing what to say, where to run, or who to grab, while my friend shook and bawled till she couldn't even talk. Her voice was so hoarse and empty. I didn't speak to anyone or leave my house for 3 days after that. I would just walk in the backyard, feeling the grass under my feet, hearing the meadowlarks call, and the murmurs of people leaving get-togethers and reminiscing about the events that had just happened. Everything was too loud. I just wanted out. When you're upset, you feel like no one can talk to you. At least I still have the pool, where I can escape to comfort myself, whether it's there for that purpose or not. remember when I was 6, I woke up my mother with lots of screaming and hollering. Something about a beast outside of the window. My mother just said it was the branches of the wind and that I should just go to sleep. She was nice enough to fetch some warm milk with some of her brandy splashed in it to calm me down. It did, and I fell asleep. I know what I saw, though. It was something that leaves one cowering in its might. To me, though, it looked real friendly. Almost like it was checking on the child it left behind. It stuck with me, and I'm sure I stuck with them, wherever they are.
Love is not self-seeking. It is not prone to anger. Neither does it brood over injuries. Love does not rejoice in what is wrong. Love rejoices in what is true.
What did I say?
There is no limit to love's forbearance.
The rain came down heavy this morning. Most kids I know don't like rain. There are boys at the school who read cowboy stories and dream of being in a desert country. Not me. The greenness and wetness in Wisconsin will be something I want to have beside me forever, whether that be in this state or not. Weather like this is what I live for. Especially after the heat swell that led up to today, the Sunday before Decoration Day.
Children, make sure to clean off your Sunday clothes and boots immediately, okay?
Yes, Mother.
Did you notice that Father Thomas had this pained smile on his face for most of the service? Good Lord, what are they doing to that poor man, putting him back out there only 3 weeks after his stroke? Thinking we wouldn't notice since they give Father Prine and the others the presiding role and Thomas the secondary role. One could only imagine the church forcing this poor man to form a sentence.
Oh, I know. It's terrible what they're doing to him. They really just need to bring somebody up from the rectory and just put him out of his misery. Give him a nice retirement. Do you think Father's still angry at us for not paying attention during Father Prine's homily?
Well, one never knows with someone like him, but I saw him talking to some people who were very enthusiastic about the new party, so I'm sure he's preoccupied with enthusiastically writing to his correspondence about this success.
Good. I'm just curious since I was thinking about going out for the night to visit with Sarah and Maxwell at the horse stable.
You aren't seriously considering going to the horse stable at night.
Well, I don't see why not.
Virginia, that place is a den for criminals and abductors at nightfall.
Oh, come on. They're just old wives' tales. I've heard from many of the kids at school who've gone there at night, and not one of them went missing after going there.
Doesn't matter. Because what I've heard from my coworkers is that they've lost cousins there. And even if the abduction stories aren't true, I was once there with a friend of mine, and we saw some truly brutal fights going on there.
Oh, please, Josephine. I'll be fine, honest. You know I'm mature for this.
Virginia, you're 12 years old. You're no more mature than any of the other kids in the neighborhood.
Most of the kids in this town are idiots.
You can be a bit stupid yourself, you know.
You take that back, Miss O'Halloran. You know it not to be true.
Oh, does the other Miss O'Halloran dog protest too much?
Silence! I will not stand this.
Virginia, are you and Josephine done with washing your clothes?
Almost, Mother.
We'll finish up soon and get dressed. I need you for something.
Yes, Mother. Please, can I go?
The answer is still no.
You asked for me?
Yes, thank you, Virginia. I'm in need of some help in finishing this quilt I've been making. Could you please hold the sheet while I'm working?
Oh, sure. I'm excited to see how this quilt turns out.
Thank you so much, dear. You're a blessing. Come, sit over here. What were you and your sister discussing in the laundry room?
We weren't discussing anything, Mother.
Oh, come now. You can't honestly peg me as a naive waif. No one ever could take that long to clean their Sunday best. You know what a mother's intuition I have.
Well, I was trying to convince Josephine that I would be fine to go to the pony stable at night with Sarah and Maxwell.
She wouldn't let you go to the stables at night?
She said there would be criminals and abductors there at that time.
Ugh, old wives' tales those are.
That's what I said. It's just ridiculous that she thinks I can't stand up for myself. She thinks I'm still a little kid.
Oh, she's just being a bit overprotective, that's all. She always took a shine to you, ever since she saw you as a tiny baby in your bassinet. You'll come to find yourself in a similar situation when baby Agnes comes of age.
I don't think I reacted to Aggie like Josephine did for me.
Maybe you will someday.
Maybe. So can I go?
Go?
You know, go.
Oh, certainly. No problem whatsoever.
Oh, thank you so much. I knew you'd say yes.
Yes, yes. Now, when is this get-together occurring?
Tonight.
Tonight?
Yes. Tonight. Is there something wrong with that?
Oh, well, you can't go out tonight. Your father is making his famous lamb only for special occasions. And the eve of Decoration Day is a special occasion.
Oh.
Dear?
Yes, Mother. I understand. I'm sorry if Josephine and I made Father upset this morning.
Made fun? Oh, yes, now I remember. Yes, very strange of you two to act like that. I've never seen such behavior overtake either of you before.
Well, it was just because of... It was because of the fact that we found it crazy that the church is still letting Father Thomas do masses, even when he's wearing this big, pained smile the entire service due to his stroke.
Well, I don't find this funny, Virginia. Do you?
Pardon?
Well, you seem to be getting a bit of a kick out of this, and I'm just wondering what's so funny about this situation.
Oh, I don't find it funny. It's just really sad and absurd that they're already trying to put Father Thomas back on the service docket after all that.
Oh, child, that was so long ago. He looked like a fresh rooster.
Mother, it was just 3 weeks ago. You can't be this blind to such a mistake done by the church.
I am not blind. The decision that was made was a just one from my view, and you can talk to anyone from the parish and you will get a similar response. Is this to be understood?
I don't...
Is this to be understood? Simple question.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Good. Thank you for your help, darling.
The boys of Liverpool, when we safely landed, called myself a fool. I could no longer stand it, blood began to boil. Temper I was losing, poor old Erin's eye. They began abusing her Rami, so says I, Shillelagh, Island Fights. Some Galway boys were nigh, and so I was a hobbling with a loud hooray. Joined in the affray, we quickly cleared the way for the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack-a-lo-le-ra. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack-a-lo-le-ra, whack-a-lo-le-ra, whack-a-lo-le-ra.
Virginia, please keep up. I don't want to end up losing you.
I'm sorry. I just have a tough time getting the energy up for market errands.
Oh, please, you're young. Now come along. We need to get this
Why,
done.
if it isn't Rosmary O'Halloran as I live and breathe.
Aoife, Dunne, what a surprise to run into you. I didn't see you yesterday at Mass. How are you this day?
Blessed as I always am. Oh, and how rude of me. Hello, Virginia. How are you?
Fine, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, what a sweet young girl you have, and such fine manners.
Yes, we try to ensure our children grow up understanding to respect others, to prepare them when they are of a mature age.
Aye, blessed be unto you. Judging by your children's character, I have a good feeling that will be exactly what happens. You wouldn't want to send little ruttagers running around the state or country.
Oh, heavens no. Though, if any of my children fall in with that Neil Seidel crowd in Milwaukee, that may be what we get with them.
Oh, I don't know what your plan looks like for today, but if you're available, I'd love to invite your family over for dinner.
Oh, why, that would be wonderful. I know that my family would be grateful to accept that invitation.
Blessed be, thank you. Dinner starts at 7 on the dot. I can't wait to see your family there tonight.
Yes, we will keep that in mind. Thank you again for this invitation, and I look forward to seeing your family.
Well, goodbye, Rosmary. See you tonight.
Goodbye, Aoife.
Mother, we're not seriously going to the Dunne's house for dinner tonight, are we?
Why are you so against the idea of going there? The Dunnes are good people. Our people.
Oh, Mother, you only say that because they're the only of our people who live in this town. The rest are in Madison, and us as a family have never visited with any of them. Only you.
You and the rest don't need to involve yourselves with that. Those are just my goodwill visits. Regardless, we are going to the Dunnes' home for dinner, and there will be no debate about it. End of discussion.
Mother,
Virginia?
I'll make sure to change into some nice clothes when we get home.
Good girl. Now come along now. Let's not waste any more time, shall we?
Well, my wife and I just wanted to thank you for your family's wonderful hospitality and for the great meal that you were so gracious to cook for us.
Oh, well, it was really nothing. Thank you for accepting our invitation on such short notice, as well as for you being so gracious and friendly to us the entire night. Cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers.
So, Josephine, I heard you graduated high school recently. Congratulations!
Yes, I have. Thank you very much, Mrs. Dunne.
What are you doing now that you're done with your secondary education?
Well, since the beginning of the year, I've been working in the textile mill in downtown Madison. And I think I'm probably going to stay down there for a while.
Oh. Well, okay then. Is there anything else that you're doing?
No, I don't think so. Why? Is there something I'm missing here?
Well, it's just that, being done with secondary and all, one would presume that...
I think what my wife is trying to say is that she's wondering if you're engaged with anyone at the moment.
Engaged? I mean... I think I'm a bit too young for that now. I'm trying to focus more on my job at the mill and pace myself, life-wise.
18, too young. Why, that's the best age to become engaged. Why, I remember walking by the schoolhouse around the time of graduation and saw all the girls talking to the adults there and showing off the rings given to them by their betrothed.
Well, to be honest, I believe that I'm only at the beginning of my life as an adult. Everything is so new and exciting out there, and I feel like I have a lot to give to this world before I would ever want to settle down.
But you will settle down, right?
I don't really know.
Well, then what are you planning on doing for most of your life?
Well, I've become a very avid member of the union that my coworkers and I are a part of at the mill I work at, and I feel like a lot of change and help can be made through there. I'm really happy about it.
I didn't know that someone like you could be in a union.
Yes, we assuredly can. I think it's very important to do such a thing, especially now. I mean, the Triangle Factory fire only occurred a year ago, so I think having the means to bargain for our safety and welfare, both bodily and financially, is very important for us, especially since this factory is an important part of this state's industry.
Why do you need to worry about all that at such a young age?
Well, I think having an active and local union will do a lot more for change than by putting faith into the few in high places.
My goodness, you sound like those suffragettes who stopped me in order to read their pamphlets.
What's that supposed to mean?
Yes, I agree with Josephine. I think you're beginning to lose the plot on this discussion.
Not only that, but are you that against your own self-interest that you're annoyed by those attempting to inform you of what you don't have?
No, I didn't say that. I'm fine with gaining the right to vote and all that. I'm just tired by the shrillness that these people have in trying to get their cause across.
I don't know how to respond to that. I'm having real difficulty wrapping my mind around all of this.
Of course you can't. Folks like you can't wrap their heads around anything.
Pardon me. I don't mean to be an intrusion, but I think I'll excuse myself right now.
Darling, where are you going?
I'm just going upstairs to play with Arthur.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you two are getting along with each other. Go on up, why don't you?
Thank you. Arthur Dunne was the Dunnes' only child, same age as me. He was truly unbearable, a complete wet blanket. In fact, he was so unbearable that me playing with him was a bold-faced lie. I had to get out of the Dunne house to clear my mind. The sounds of the forest in the evening is great for this purpose. When the town clatter has died to a deadly silence and all you can hear is the wind whipping the leaves and the first nocturnal birds coming out to coo. Silence. Complete silence. Hello?
Hello.
Hi. My apologies for waking you up. It wasn't my intention to bother you.
Then why did you yell out hello to me if those weren't your intentions?
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, calm down, child. I'm only joking.
Oh. Not to be rude, but who are you?
I'm the Eternal One. I'm the heart of these here woods.
So your name is the Eternal One.
Title, my girl. There's a great deal of difference between a title and a name. Keep that in mind.
Well, you wouldn't mind me giving you a name, would you?
Give me a name, huh?
As a personal keepsake. I find it a lot more endearing for someone like you to have a name if we are ever to become friends. Sir.
Well, I can tell you right now that I don't like being called sir. So maybe a name to refer to myself when we talk would be good. Any suggestions?
I think Adam would be a good name.
Adam?
Well, Adam was the first of my kind, and I ain't never seen anyone or thing like you, so to me, you're sort of the first of your kind.
Oh, child, you have no idea how wrong you are with that assessment. But since you were truthful and modest, I will agree to be called Adam from now on.
Really? Oh, wonderful, thank you.
Now, mind you, I'm doing this for you. I usually never acquiesce to most other people on matters such as this, but you've been fairly kind to me so far. And for that, I'm willing to be generous to you. As a thanks, you know?
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So, what do you do in these parts, Adam?
I look after all of this.
Oh, you don't do just that. There must be another job you do around here.
Well, overseeing the woods is far more than just looking after the elements that you know. There are many creatures who inhabit these woods. They're much like I, at least in terms of figure. Similar to animals of your realm, but not quite. We live in a community, much like your own, and that I'm a sort of leader of all of us.
Like a mayor?
Yeah, you could say I'm like an eternal mayor.
Well, that doesn't really sound like a mayor then now, huh? Most mayors I'm aware of are in and out of office pretty quick.
Yes, and how long has the mayor of your town been in charge?
I don't know, 20 years?
Mighty interesting that is, huh? You know, another thing I do is collect stories that I've heard from others. Have you heard the story, The House Carpenter?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, I must tell it then.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. I'm not the one that...
Oh, come on, this is the least I can do for such a sweet girl as yourself.
Thank you. Okay, I'll hear the story.
Fantastic. I'll begin then. Once,
Then
there
he
was...
tells me the story of a woman named Joanna, a woman from a traveling family band who, during her time off the road, would have romantic liaisons with a man who goes by the name Jim. After a while, she decides to stop touring and settle down without Jim knowing. Then Jim comes to Joanna's home. He is shocked to discover her family there. Then he reconnects with his past priest and says that he has purchased tickets for her to travel upon a ship in order to see her family for the first time in a long time. She joyously accepts and leaves the next day, leaving her family at home. While on the voyage, the ship experiences some nasty weather, with Joanna seeing an image of her former love revealing himself to be the devil. He says he cursed the ship to sink and that she will never see her family again. The story ends with this phrase. She fell with the ship, and
the rest of her life came with her.
Wow, that was incredible.
Why, thank you. That means a lot. Do you have any stories that you know?
Oh, me? Oh, I don't have any stories to tell.
Oh, you must have one. Everyone has at least one.
I don't know, I'm just very unsure.
Oh, come on. If I told you one I knew, it's only fair that you return the favor.
Well, I know a story called The Children of Lear.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. There was once a man by the name of Lear. He was next in line to the throne of Ireland, until it was given to a man named Bode. Lear was so infuriated by this sight, he swore no fealty to the king. In fear of his reign and life, Bode decided to appease Lear by giving his daughter Eva's hand in marriage to Lear. Lear agreed and married her. The couple had 4 children who they loved dearly. One day, Eva passed away, much to Lear's despair. Bode then gave another one of his daughters away to be married to Lear, one by the name of Royshin. Royshin became jealous of the amount of affection that her husband was giving to his children from the previous marriage and tried feigning illness for more attention and attempting to kill the children through assassins. None of it worked. She then finally brought the children to a pond and magically transformed them into swans. The only speech she allowed them was the singing plaintive songs with the honks of said swans. When Lear found out about this, he ended his marriage with her and had Royshin's father curse her to spend the rest of eternity as a demon. For 900 years, people listened to the songs of these swans, with most all knowing their tragic stories. After St. Patrick brought Christianity to Ireland, a monk who had heard this story came to the area in order to exorcise the curse out of the children. The birds trusted the monk and allowed themselves to be bound in silver and prayed over by him. When the prayer was finished, in place of the swans were 4 elderly folks. The children of Lear returned to human form. The monk then baptized them the next day. They died the following day, and their burial was the day after that. Thus is the story of how Lear's children were cursed and then removed from such a curse.
Hey, look at that. You did have a story in you, and a very good one at that.
Really? You enjoyed it?
Oh yes, very much so.
Well, thank you. I'm not very comfortable telling stories like that.
Like what?
Like, never mind, it's nothing.
Oh, you should come back to these parts and tell some more stories like that.
Oh, well, I'll consider it. Surely it can't compete with your stories.
Oh, please. My stories are hogwash compared to what you told me.
Rabbit, she was told, don't you stray far from home.
I'm Virginia. I'm Albert O'Halloran's daughter. He sent me here in order to help with a party you were having.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for lending your hand, young Virginia. My name is Helmi. I'm Evelina's sister, the mother of the kids in this family and the matriarch of sorts.
Ah, okay. May I ask you to introduce me to her?
Certainly. She's in the kitchen. I'll lead you to her, okay?
Okay.
Excuse me, but I just wanted to inform you that Mr. O'Halloran's daughter, Virginia, is here to help do some chores for Anna's party.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Helmi, for bringing her. Hello, Virginia. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You must be Eveliina, right?
Yes, and I intend to remain that name. Well, let's get you working. The boys, Aunt Helmi, and I have been making some pastries for after dinner. You can help start a new batch by kneading the dough. Is that all clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. And mind what I said about remaining that name. No formalism in this house on my watch. We're all friends here.
Oh, okay.
Let's begin then.
Well, that was the last of it. Is there anything else you need from me?
No, I think that's all the chores that need done. Thank you again.
It was no issue. Thank you. Well, I guess I'll be on my way.
Oh, you can't leave and not enjoy the party you helped us make.
Yeah, come on, Virginia. Please, can you stay?
Oh, I'm not, I guess I can stay.
Wonderful. I'll let my husband and his father know that you'll be staying for Anna's party, okay?
Okay.
Sakas voitneto kanoinen, isasi majasa, kuin kuka kaunis sulainen, virillä nurmella. Kuin kuka kaunis sulainen, virillä nurmella.
Blow out the candles, Anna.
Oh, thank you, all of you. This has been a wonderful birthday.
Well, we all chipped in to make sure your 16th birthday was as special as it could be. Also, we should all give young Miss Virginia O'Halloran a hand for all the work she did with us during the day.
Thank you. It was really nothing.
Papa, could you tell the story you said was Anna's favorite when she was my age? Oh no, I'm far too old to be spending birthdays these days hearing children's stories.
Oh, come now. Stories like these are for everyone, old and young. Let me see if I can remember. Oh, yes. One day, while a bear was prowling about the woods, he caught a grouse. Well done, he thought to himself. And wouldn't the other animals be surprised if they knew this old bear had caught a grouse? He was so proud of his feat that he wanted everyone around to know of it. So holding the grouse carefully in his teeth without injuring it, he began parading up and down the forest paths. They'll all certainly envy me this nice plump grouse, he thought, and they won't be so ready to call me awkward and lumbering after this either. Then the fox sauntered by. He saw at once that the bear was showing off and did not want to indulge him with any admiration. Instead, he pretended not to see the grouse at all. Instead, he pointed his nose upwards and sniffed. "Ugh, ugh," grunted the bear, trying to attract attention to himself. "Ah," the fox remarked casually, "is that you? What way is the wind blowing today? Can you tell me?" The bear could not answer without opening his mouth, so he grunted again, expecting that the fox noticed why he couldn't answer. But the fox didn't glance at him at all. With his nose still pointed upwards, he kept sniffing the air. It seems to me it's from the south, he said. Isn't it from the south? Oh, the bear grunted. You say it is from the south, are you sure? The bear repeated, while growing more impatient every moment. Oh, not from the south, you say. Then from what direction is it blowing? By this time, the bear was so exasperated by the interest the fox showed in the wind when he should have been admiring the grouse that he forgot himself, opened his mouth, and roared out, "North!" The moment he opened his mouth, the grouse flew away. "Now see what you've done," he stormed angrily. "You've made me lose my fine, plump grouse." "I?" asked the fox. "What had I to do with it?" "You kept asking me about the wind until I opened my mouth. That's what you did." The fox shrugged his shoulders. "Why did you open your mouth?" "You cannot say north without opening your mouth, can you?" the bear demanded. The fox laughed heartily. "See here, bear, don't blame me. Blame yourself. If I had had that grouse in my mouth and you had asked me about the wind, I should never have said north." "What would you have said?" the bear asked. The fox laughed. Then he clenched his teeth and said, "East."
See, we all enjoyed the tale, Anna. Oh, I'm sorry, Virginia. We're probably leaving you out of a lot of this.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm just enjoying myself here.
Virginia, you must have some great stories from your home, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on now. I'm certain you must have something.
Yeah, tell us a story, Virginia.
And where have you been, Virginia?
Oh, jeez. I didn't see you there.
Not a particularly prudent answer to my question, Virginia.
Well, the Larsens requested me to stay for the party I was helping put on due to all the work I did beforehand.
Is this the truth?
Yes, Father.
I am so proud of you, Virginia. What inroads you've been making with the people you've been working with in this town. Keep it up, Virginia. People might just start befriending you more because of it.
Yes, I will keep that in mind.
Now, head upstairs and off to bed, okay?
Yes, Father.
Jesus, Lord, help me.
I'm off to the mill right now. Goodbye, folks.
Goodbye, Josephine.
Did I miss her?
Just went through the door.
I wanted to ask her something for a second.
Well, now you'll just have to wait to ask her until the evening. Virginia, I need to ask for your company for today.
Oh, Father, you're not going to take me up to the party headquarters in Madison, are you?
No, nothing like that. We're just visiting with my co-constituent's family. It'll just be a short walk over. I think you and his kids should try to get acquainted. Trust me, you're going to see a lot of them through the rest of the year. Well, come along now. Virginia, this isn't a choice.
Okay.
Albert, what a pleasure to see you.
The feeling is mutual, Roy. I'd like to introduce you to my daughter, Virginia.
Oh, well. How do you do, Virginia?
I'm well, sir. Thank you.
My, what great manners she has.
Well, thank you. So, do we want to get started on discussing the statewide campaign?
Certainly. Let's get straight into it.
Great. We'll talk in your parlor. Virginia, why don't you run off and introduce yourself to Mr. Hofmann's sons?
Oh, no. I'd be happy to introduce you two to them instead.
That would be wonderful, Roy. Thank you.
Boys, I'd like to introduce you to my co-constituent, Mr. O'Halloran, and his daughter, Virginia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, good morning to you. Virginia.
Oh, yes. Good morning.
I spend a lot of time with these men here in the kitchen, trying to get their minds sharp. Samuel, Sun Tzu stated thusly about the form conflict takes.
He said that there are 9 situations: a dispersive ground, a facile ground, contentious ground, open ground, ground of intersecting highways, serious ground, difficult ground, hemmed-in ground, and desperate ground.
Correct. Andrew? In Edmund Burke's writing Reflections on the Revolution in France, he stated that while absolute monarchy is not the means of governance, he rejected the Jacobins' ideals because they didn't involve what?
He said he wanted them to incorporate private property, tradition, and maintenance of social order and constitutional reform to end the monarchy, not revolution.
Absolutely right. And in Herbert Crowley's writing The Promise of American Life, whose ideals did he say he wanted the American government to adhere to? Jefferson or Hamilton?
Hamilton. Crowley said he wanted a strong federal government to support economic interventionism and to promote progressive policies.
Perfect. Samuel, back to you. Describe the treatise Karl Marx wrote on the theory of surplus value.
He said that,
Well, I know for a fact that due to your response, you don't know what he said. Marx stated that the contradictions of labor theories of value, as taught in schools of the time, had caused a sort of vulgar political economy, which did not promote capitalism, just market economies. Remember this. I will ask you again when you least expect it next time.
Yes, sir.
Wow, this is a lot, Mr. Hofmann.
Virginia.
No need to reprimand her. I welcome such discussion. Virginia, my girl, I do this type of drilling in order to make sure they know the most about the family field. Politics.
But aren't you a Progressive Party member? I don't remember my father ever coming home and talking about people named Burke or Marx.
Well, no, I don't believe in the words of those two. But it is incredibly important to know what your enemy is up to. Yes, well, me and your father have to go off now and discuss some party stuff. Samuel, Andrew, why don't you take Virginia upstairs to your bedroom to talk or play or what may have you?
Yes,
sir.
Hi, buddy. How are you? Oh, you're beautiful, aren't you? Oh my goodness, they're delightful. Did they have a name?
His name's Hephaestus.
Oh wow, that's quite a name now, isn't it?
Our father named him after the Greek god, Vulcan in Roman terms.
I would have named him Brownie if he were my dog. Not the most creative of names, but, you know.
You don't seem happy here.
No, it's just that I'm not used to all of this. I mean, my father does the same thing as your father, and I don't remember him doing anything like that.
I mean, he does more than just what you saw downstairs. You know, the 3 R's and whatnot. I think he just views the politics thing as something to show off to people.
Well, do you two have opinions on current affairs?
Oh, most certainly.
What do you think about the suffragettes?
Oh, well, of course I support them.
Yes, basically the same as Sam.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really sticks in my craw about all of this are probably just some strands of these folks.
What do you mean?
Just that I'm not the most keen on people like Margaret Sanger.
Why?
I just don't care for people who align themselves with unions or talk about birth control.
I don't understand why that should be an issue. They're just doing other things that will help them.
Well, from my understanding, those things have nothing to do with allowing for women to have better representation in the country.
Well, it would just be for them to have an even more well-rounded life beyond politics.
It sounds like you aren't as smart as you think.
You know what? Fine. If you're gonna be like that, I'll just leave.
Debs may be a problem in Milwaukee, yes. I think,
Father, I would like to...
Yeah, I was just about to call for you. I need for you to go to the general store and pick up some food. Here's some money and a list for what to buy. Head back home when you're done, okay?
Oh. Okay then.
Thank you, darling. See you later tonight.
Virginia, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, sir.
I do what I'm told, usually. I have since I was a toddler. But though I did the task as told, I still did not feel like heading home. I was pulled somewhere else. Is someone there? Hello. Can you speak?
Of course I can speak. Why would you think I couldn't?
It's just that I didn't know. I'm sorry if I offended you.
Well, no harm, no foul. I'm the forgiving type after all.
You're very well spoken, I have to say.
That's because one has to be in order to gain the trust of another person. And it seems as though I've done a good job of that. What with the prejudices you've come with.
Oh, well, I'm deeply sorry if...
Calm down, girl. I have no qualms with you. Just some playful banter, good for the heart and mind.
Oh. Would you like some of this food I have? I could share a bit.
Oh, why, certainly. Thank you, girl. I'll take what you can spare.
You know, you're not the only beast-like creature I've met in these parts before.
Well, that assessment seems to be accurate. There are a lot of us here.
The beast I met said he didn't have a name. Do you have one?
A name? I'm afraid I do not, my child.
Oh, well, the creature I met said I could give him a name. Maybe I could do the same for you.
I see no issue in that. What name were you thinking of?
How about George?
Interesting. Pray tell, what made you come upon that name in particular?
I don't know. I named the other creature Adam since he was the first creature here that I met, since in my parts Adam was the first of us. So I guess I'm going down a list of First Road and naming you after my country's first president, especially since you seem to be well-spoken as him. Or at least from what I've heard, he was well-spoken. I never met him. What do you think of it?
Capital idea, girl. I would love to take up that namesake. But where are my manners? What is your name, girl?
Oh, my name's Virginia.
Well, Virginia, I assume you are currently in my presence to receive education of some matters.
Education? Ugh. I just left a house where some boy's father was drilling them about politics. The last thing I need is something like that.
Come now, and education doesn't just involve training the mind, though that is of great importance as well. One must be able to train the body. Now, do you know how to fight, Virginia?
Fight?
Well, I can teach you. It's quite simple, really.
I mean, I don't know how I would ever learn. I certainly don't have the strength for fighting.
Oh, but see, fighting is much more than strength. It's about intuition. Come, let's try an exercise.
Okay.
Now listen, what is the most important part of fighting?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. Is it to get the first punch in?
Getting the first punch in, child. There are much more important things than just entering a conflict guns a-blazing. There's a precursor to violence. You must first observe your environment, see the structures around you, feel the ground underneath your feet.
But I'm wearing boots.
Feel the ground underneath your feet, utilizing all the senses and using them to your advantage. Just center yourself where you stand.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm centered.
Good. Now open your eyes, put your arms out before you, and have them bent, hands open, palms facing inward. Good. Now I'm going to make some medium speed strikes. Utilize what I've told you to defend yourself. Ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Good. Let's begin.
Wow. I'm actually doing it. Thank you, George.
Ha-ha! It's only natural that I share my knowledge with someone who has shared kindness with me. Now let's continue, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mother, I didn't see you there.
Hello, Virginia. You're back awfully late.
Oh,
Oh, I ran into some children I knew from school and decided to play with them for a bit.
Were you able to pick up the items your father was asking you to purchase at the general store?
Yes, I did. Here you are.
Darling, there seems to be some items missing.
Oh, I sort of ate some of the food before I got back home.
Virginia Elizabeth O'Halloran, that food was meant for the whole family. How could you be so thoughtless?
I don't,
I'm very disappointed in you, Virginia. Why don't you come along with me?
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Ha ha, very funny. How are you, little lug?
Never better. You doing all right yourself?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, you have any new stories to tell?
I'm sorry to say that I don't. Though, I mean, I could, I could sing a song. Though I'm not sure about that.
Oh, please. I'd love to hear a song. I have a couple of my own I could share if you just gave me one.
Well, I know one called Lovely Willie.
By all means, don't let me stop you.
Okay. It happened one evening at the playing of ball, when first I met Willie, both proper and tall. Her father'd been listening, in ambush he lay, to hear the fond words that these lovers did say. And with a sharp rapier he pierced her love through, and the innocent blood of her love he drew. The grave was made ready, Lovely Willie laid in, and the mass it was chanted to free his soul from sin. And its all-honored father, you may say as you will, but the innocent blood of my love you did spill. So now I will go off to some far country, where I will know no one, and no one know me. And it's there I will wander, till I close my eyes in death. For it's you, Lovely Willie, you're the boy I love best.
Wow, that was breathtaking.
Oh, it was nothing. Well, I guess it's your turn.
All right, I will attempt to follow. Okay, I think I have one. Come, you ladies and gentlemen, listen to my song. I'll sing it to you right, but you might think it's wrong. May make you sad, but I mean no harm. It's all about the renters on Benny's farm. Hard times in the country, down on Benny's farm. Now you move out on Benny's farm.
Mrs. Foster?
Oh, why, yes, that's me. And you must be Miss Virginia O'Halloran. Nice to be of your acquaintance.
Thank you. Glad to be of yours as well.
Well, come inside. Don't catch yourself a cold.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I want you to scrub down the floors on the landing at the top of the stairs, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Honey, be a dear and call me Mrs. Foster.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Foster.
Good. I'll check up on you in an hour.
Oh, hello. You must be one of Mrs. Foster's daughters. Nice to meet you. My name's Virginia. Well, best be getting back to work.
Ma! Virginia isn't washing the floor right!
Wait, what? What are you doing? Shh!
Virginia, honey, what in the world are you doing?
I'm washing the floor like you said to. I have no idea what your daughter here is talking about.
First of all, her name is Esther. Second of all, show me what you were doing before she started hollering for me.
Well, I was scrubbing the floor for a little bit, and then I saw that the rag was getting dry and dirty, so I decided to dunk the cloth into a pail of sudsy water.
And then?
And then I got back to scrubbing the floor.
Oh, honey, you've got to dampen the washcloth before you start back to scrubbing. Otherwise, you're just pushing water around on the floor.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Well, sorry ain't gonna cut it when my floor is filled with random puddles and ain't cleaner than the moment you started. Now, try to be a bit more cautious with how you're cleaning the floors, okay?
Yes, Mrs. Foster. Well, I think I'm done for the day. Scrub the upstairs till it sparkled.
All right, you get on your way now. Tell your folks I said hi.
Okay. Will do. And she didn't even say thank you. After all that, it was the least I deserved.
Oh, very understandable how unruly those people are.
Well, I wouldn't say anything like that.
Oh no, I will stand firm in this assessment. Reminds me of a man that I once escorted into the after.
Were you about to say what I think you were?
Well, I guess the cat is out of the proverbial bag, if I say so myself.
So, what are you?
I am a guide who helps some of the dearly departed.
What does that entail?
Well, that means I aid people who are traveling into the afterlife.
Like to heaven? Like an angel?
Possibly. Possibly not. I'm not one for disclosing such information.
Did you ever meet folks like me? You know, but older and with an accent.
Well, if this is in regards to what I think it is, I can tell you now that there would be no way of knowing if I met any of your kin. There have been so many figures that I have ferried in my time, it would be impossible to recall any of them precisely.
Do you remember anything about any of them?
I would just recall that you would meet people in all sorts of states. Some would be thrashing about, cussing up a storm about how they shouldn't be there. Some would just ask where they were, and then begin weeping with a smile plastered on their face. Some just said nothing, and then followed. Those were the most frightening. The thing was, that was what happened the most.
Virginia, honey, could you please empty out the tanks in the outhouse?
Yes, Mrs. Foster.
this. What a poor, petulant child we have in the ranks today, folks. I'm here to check on you, Virginia.
How do you know my name?
Oh, I myself and the rest have been keeping good tabs on you, Virginia. In fact, the lot of us in the forest have.
You're being a bit more direct than any of the other creatures I've met.
Oh, how sensitive you can be. You've always been too emotional for your own good. Too much left brain, not enough right. It's such a shame, since you're such an intelligent young thing. Maybe, for once in your life, stop acting like the other kids in your class. Your behavior shows them you're no better than them.
What's your goal here, huh? What's your point? Why spend this time harassing me?
Sweetheart, your development into someone stronger and less whiny than you are now is a paramount concern. No one is going to want your help if you keep making actions like you do. I love you, Virginia. Now be more steadfast for me. For yourself.
You don't love me. You don't know me.
Oh, and the folks in your neighborhood know or love you? Truly. You shouldn't necessarily attempt any connections with these people. It might seem futile.
Piss off.
Wow. It seems like you are one to fall back into old habits fairly well. I'll leave be. Just say I didn't warn you.
Honey, what on earth are you doing still standing out here?
Sorry. I thought I saw a bear or a timber wolf out there. Wanted to make sure we weren't in any danger.
Well, get yourself inside here. I still got quite a bit of work for you before the day is through.
Yes, Mrs. Foster.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, bless us, our Lord, for these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. All right, let's eat. So, Virginia, how has your time with the Fosters been going?
If I'm being honest, not so good. I don't like how demanding they are and what have you.
Oh, Virginia, try to be a bit more enthusiastic about these jobs. You're not always going to be working with someone who's going to have your views on how work should get done. Best be to just try to be as thick-skinned about it as possible.
Excuse me. I just wanted to make an announcement to everybody right now, since this happened just today, and I want to make sure you all know before I forget, or someone else tells you somehow. This afternoon, while at the mill, my union had a new leadership meeting and election, and I decided to throw my hat into the ring. After several voting processes, I came out on top to be the Textile Labor Union's new leader.
Josephine, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. It means a lot to hear your support about this.
Of course, we all think something like this will help you grow into a more responsible young woman. So, when do you officially become leader of the group?
Beginning of next week?
Great.
Yes, I'm super excited as well. Especially in regards to the changes that my coworkers and I want to enact when we're able to get down to brass tacks.
Oh, what do you have in mind?
We've been considering weakening the role of the leader and other high council members of our union in order to create a more democratic and rank-and-file format for our union.
Well, that sounds drastic, don't you think?
I don't think our plan is all that crazy.
Josephine, this is a real good plan to put you and your co-workers in a deeper hole.
I don't understand what you mean by that.
I mean that we are on the precipice of great change for the working class in this country. And we did it all through a pragmatic progressivism that didn't use Marxian principles.
I don't think this is Marxist at all. Most union strategies that we've been looking into have been from trade union organizations from Britain.
Regardless, unions do more harm than good than the more pragmatic ones. Besides, if more unions go down this path, it might lead to a more socialistic environment for this country, which is completely ridiculous when we have accomplished so much in the movements and politics I have advocated for.
Come on now, darling. Lay off Josephine a bit, will you? She's just being a bit naive.
No, she is fully capable of taking such criticisms.
Father, we need unions that are a tightly bound community of workers and that are not bogged down by both bosses and the bureaucracy of these so-called pragmatic unions. The rank-and-file trade unionism of Britain has worked, and we need to be more like that.
Dear Lord, maybe my folks should have been more like those down in the south of the country if us English-supporting Dubliners were supporting such practices. You extremists are going to put us back to the Stone Age with these antics.
Oh, honey, you're being real mean right now.
What? It's fine. We're just having a conversation here. She's strong-willed enough to take it.
God, you know, you are really dense when it comes to change. You know that? It wasn't from some goddamn Samuel Gompers type. It was from the ones who were angrier and more persistent with the changes that needed to occur so that it would no longer be the quote-unquote Stone Age, as well as having the wherewithal to choose their battles. Then, folks like Roosevelt latched onto the less controversial parts and claimed it as their own. What bullshit that was.
He is a trailblazer for that. There are many a politician who would never even consider the needs of people like us. You are so ungrateful for not recognizing that in him.
I am not ungrateful. I'm probably doing more for our family and neighbors than you have done with your campaigning in your entire life. I have always cared for those we live side by side with. You've only ever cared about them in terms of utilizing them for checks on ballots.
Well, I guess that's just how you feel. All I can say is that I feel that I may have misjudged you. Maybe you are a long way from being a responsible young woman. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be retiring for the night.
Stand up, Josephine. Oh, Josephine, my beautiful daughter. I love you so much, but I'm also your mother, and I must say this. You need to know that I appreciate the passion you have for trying to make this world a better place. That being said, you are always going to be second place in these efforts when compared to people like your father. But it seems like you can't do that.
Josie, we need to get out of here right now. Me, you, Aggie, all of us, now.
What the hell are you talking about? Where are we going?
Josie, I've been visiting the woods for the past couple of weeks, and I've discovered these strange and wonderful creatures who I've befriended. There's George, who's been the greatest teacher to me, and Adam, who's been the best friend one could ever have. Josephine, we can be ourselves out there. We don't have to hide anymore. Just please come with me.
Okay, Virginia. Just for you.
He should be here. Adam should be here somewhere. He's almost always here. Where is he?
Virginia, look. I get that you're upset about what happened back at dinner, but this has got to stop. I'm glad you still have an active childhood imagination and all that, but doing this type of thing is dangerous. You've got to understand that sometimes you have to be better aware of your surroundings.
Adam and the rest are real. I've spoken to them, touched them. I've told them our songs and stories, and they liked them. You don't understand me. They liked them. Our parents were wrong. These things can touch people. I'm telling you, they're real.
That can't be true. You have never done any such thing in your life. You're too much of a goody two-shoes for that.
I never thought I could do it either, but they brought out the best in me. This was something that made me feel free for the first time ever. It made me feel like I could be my true self outside the walls of our house.
Virginia, you can be your true self whenever you want to be. It's not just at home.
No, I can't.
Fine. You think that. But I still don't believe in any of these beasts or creatures or whatever you call them. I'm going back home. You can follow me if you want.
Josephine! Come on, I'm sorry. Please stay. They're bound to be here somewhere. Oh, Agnes. Hey, it's gonna be okay. Your big sister's here right now. Here, I have something for you. I want to go over the world and start living free. I know that there's somebody who is waiting for me. I'll build a boat, steady and true, and as soon as it's done, I'm gonna sail along in the dreams of my dear someone.
Well, you look like you're lost.
wish I could have run into you a half hour ago. I was trying to get my two sisters to come out here and see what I've been up to with you. The older one left me out here, but my baby sister's still here. Say hi, Aggie.
It's just about what I expected from the folks there, not including yourself, of course.
What do you mean?
The town you're from seems to be one in which there is no respect for the scenery that surrounds it.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
I just don't think you fully realize the amount of evil that is a part of your town. The sword of Damocles will eventually fall on them, much like it did for that murdered man a town over.
I hope you're not implying that that sword should be from one of you from the forest, right?
Well, if the shoe fits. Good night, Virgina.
Wait! Adam! I didn't sleep a wink that night. I just imagined myself floating in the dark void again, hoping I could stay there forever. I awoke to the sun streaming through my window.
Also know, we were unable to have that drone realized when the nomination was stolen from old Teddy and given to the unpopular President Taft. I know. I was disappointed too. Angered, even. After that, I vowed to end my membership in the Republican Party and to travel to wherever old Teddy decided to go in regards to his presidential ambitions. That place was a new, progressive party. The Bull Moose Party. Folks, I'll level with you. When the convention was announced, I pledged my vote to Mr. Roosevelt and hopped on the next train to Chicago in order to announce to the world that old Teddy hadn't lost his fight yet for the White House. Ladies and gents, I can most assuredly guarantee that President Roosevelt is the man for you. Not only is he as progressive as when he ran this country, he is but even more so. Under an unprecedented third term in office, President Roosevelt will enact universal voting rights, prohibitions on strike injunctions, and...
Bullshit.
Huh? Do we have an objection in the crowd now?
Yeah, we've heard all of this before, but it never comes to pass. How will Roosevelt do a better job with all of this now than he did with his time in the White House?
Well, that's a good question, and I believe that I think he will, Now, hold on, I'm just trying to,
Oh, Samuel, I'm so sorry. I'm just getting out of here and I'm trying to find someone to help out because there's a lot that needs to be fixed right now. And
Hey, it's all right, Virginia, it's all right. Ooh, you must be really shaken up by the commotion that's going on in the town right now, aren't you?
No, I mean, yes, but it's really a lot more complicated than that. It's just I really need to.
Virginia, I don't think you're in the best of states to be searching for anyone. If you really need to, I can come with and...
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Suit yourself. You know, I haven't been the kindest or the most honest with you. The truth is, I sort of resent you to a degree. You and what you have. My mama died 4 years ago, and I feel like since then our family's been too strict. When I see you and your family out for fun and whatnot, it makes me wish I had something like that. Because I did at one point, I really did. Look, I feel like we got off on the wrong foot, and for that I'm sorry. I really like you. Really. But if you don't like me for the things I've said, then shoot, bad luck on my part, I guess. You look like you're in bad shape. But if this is your problem to solve, alone, I'll let you do it. Let me just tell you this as a last resort of sorts to help and try to mend something between us. When I was little, when my mama was still alive, whenever I would get fussy or upset about things not going my way, or when I wanted to do something but was afraid of what would happen, she would say to recite this phrase: "Ever the fearless, but never the fearful, fares better in a fight. 'Tis better to be glad than in a gloomy mood, whether all is fair or soul. I don't know if this will help you at all with the help you're trying to get, but I at least hope it will get you to calm down a little bit.
Yes, yes, thank you for the advice. I'm sorry, too, about a lot of things, but in terms of us as well. Thank you for the saying. You don't know how much it will help me in this thing I'm doing. I hope I'll see you again.
So, you've come to see me now. After what I told you yesterday. After what you saw today. It's a brave choice. Or a stupid one. Depending on how you view it.
See, my holy archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast down Satan and all the evil spirits.
Oh, do you think so poorly? You think I want to see you leave? You think I'm a demon?
Yes. There are no other explanations for such evil I've seen of late.
No, child. I'm a lot older than anything you might find in the Bible. Even older than any more of your ancestors claimed in your home before they abandoned it. I've been holding out on you. Being nice. I even have a name. One besides the one you gave me. Would you like to hear it? I would advise you to get out of here. For your own safety. There's a lot of anger out here today.
I came here to kill you.
Is that so? Well then, let's get to it. No time wasted in all that.
I'm serious.
Oh, I know you are. But let me tell you this. This whole forest is like a grand garden. You'd have to take the roots out to kill the flowers. And me, I'm just a beautiful bulb about to be snipped.
Ever the fearless, but never the fearful. Fear's better in fight. 'Tis better to be glad than in gloomy mood, whether all is fair or foul.
It happened one evening at the playing of ball, when first I met Willie, both proper and tall. He was neat, fair, and handsome, and straight in each limb. There's a heart in my bosom, lies breaking for him. So now I will go off to some far country, where I will know no one, and no one know me. And there I will wander till I close my eyes in death. For it's you, lovely Willie, you're the boy I love best.
Virginia?
Oh, Josephine. Hi.
Whoa. You look like hell.
Just a bit tired is all. I'm fine.
That's good. You know, I'm really sorry for how harsh I've been to you lately. You don't deserve it. I remember when I was a little girl hearing the story of the family Blue Jays. There was a mother and father Blue Jay who loved each other very much. They decided to have a baby of their own to consummate the love they had for another. And even though they would tell the baby stories and teach them bird songs, they would every morning, like clockwork, push the baby out of the nest to see if they could fly.
The baby grew up and became skittish of great heights and lived the rest of their life on the ground. Which is funny, because despite all of this, the blue jay knew many mellifluous melodies that attracted birds from far and wide. Finally, they gained the courage to accept the advances of a fellow blue jay, and the two decided to settle down. The blue jay also had a baby, but this time, with their partner's help, they loved the baby deeply and let them choose when it was time to fly. Now, knowing that their partner and child were happy, the blue jay was able to live in the trees once more, where they died peacefully, knowing that their children and grandchildren would live a life unlike theirs.
What's so funny?
I've never heard a story about blue jays. You made that up. God, you can be impossible sometimes.
I began to spend a lot more time around Josephine after that. Time previously spent being in the woods. The tension between folks I saw those 2 autumns ago returned, though not in the same blame game scenario like before. There was just an uneasy tension between the more well-to-do people and the less so. We were all not that well-to-do, so it seemed funny to me to see them at each other's throats in a way. I went over to the Foster's home and spoke with Miss Foster about how I wanted to help her with the house chores. She was a bit perplexed that I was so willing to help her without prompt, but she welcomed me to do so. One day after work, I spoke with her about our families. She said she was often told a story when she was a child about how when you die, you fly back to the homeland of your ancestors. Maybe I'll tell her children of Lear soon. The next time I saw Samuel again, I gave him a book that I loved when I was little, hoping that it would give him some insight into who I am. He hugged me for what felt like forever. Despite my best efforts to do so, I couldn't always be out of the house and away from my parents. The worst days were on Sundays, in which we went through the routines like we had before, but with an uneasiness that was now finally palpable. The days were long, but they began to end sooner as the season came to a close. My family walked out of church like always, this time on the Sunday before Labor Day, and for the first time since summer began, it started raining.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to my 2-hour trauma drum. I go to therapy, so I'm doing fine. No, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I'm so appreciative. This was such a great, endeavor. I've been working on this for pretty much, a year. And, I think first I want to say thanks to everybody in the group. There's so many people here, and they did such a great job. Especially give it up for Eva. 3 days. She had to do all this in 2 days, and she did a fantastic job. So give us a I'd like to thank Oshray, if he's here in the audience right now. Thank you so much for doing all this, especially because there's a lot of work in here that he didn't have to do. He did it anyway, and I'm so appreciative for it. And he's been such a great blessing to have worked with him and all that other stuff. I also want to thank all the actors, if there are any of the actors who worked on this. Great performances, absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for, just giving your talents for acting and all that other stuff. I want to thank Becky, who did some of the lighting, especially since a lot of that lighting was very last second. I'd like to thank my family, who just, have been so supportive, especially my 2 clan, my grandmother, her 2 brothers, who are all still alive. My grandmother just turned 96, which is it's very funny because tonight is the eve of the 106th anniversary of the Easter Uprising, which was how my family came here to this country, and it's just very. I didn't plan it like that, but it's just very sort of interesting that it has happened like that, and I feel like, them have just been such a great blessing to have those such wonderful family members who contributed all these different stories about their lives to this project. And nothing like this had ever kind of happened to them. They had a fairly decent childhood, but they had, I had so many great stories that really kind of clued me in to just what it means to be, an Irish Catholic of sorts. I'd like to thank Darek, I'd like to thank Edwin, I'd like to thank David, I'd like to thank Larry, all the people in the faculty at CalArts have been so wonderful to work with, and just have been such a blessing for me in terms of just being such breadths of knowledge in terms of and just so great as teachers, and I truly count my blessings every day I come here just to be able to work with them. And so I just thank you once again for being in my life and making me become a better musician and whatnot. And I think the last thing that I want to kind of say is a term of thanks, and this person means the most to me in terms of this project. I started working on this in May, and I had all these different sort of people who had worked in character animation, and out of 14, only really 3 or 4 of them said that they were interested in doing this. And when I met this person, and they were just, had this breadth of knowledge in terms of folklore, I was immediately this is the person I have to work with. And it has been such an amazing journey, and I've been so glad and so appreciative to have worked with this person and to have met this person. Issa Hansen, thank you so much for doing all these wonderful illustrations, helping me develop the story. It has been just the greatest of privileges to be able to work with you, and I just can't, thank you enough. Thank you for everybody who came out tonight. You didn't have to be here, but you chose to, and I appreciate that. I'm already way too over the time that I have, so I'm just going to shut up and just, say thank you, everybody. There will be a reception in the back, so if you want to get some food and drinks, you can, and I'll see you back there. Thank you very much.
Fantastic job, man.
Huh? I am. quite an ambitious project, but it turned out really good. So I think he did a great job.